Hi guys, and thank you for tuning in. So before I start with the topic of the discussion, the painting you see in the background, I just started the other day and it was so fun because I actually couldn't paint on my other painting because it was still wet. So I thought, well, I will just start another painting, and I applied the technique I talked about the other day. So I didn't make the composition perfectly on Photoshop. Instead, I had two reference pictures, the one of the model and the other one of flowers, and I flipped them on the reference so that I have the flowers from both sides, so I can pick and choose from my reference which flower would fit in this area or in that area of the painting. And and on this painting I also had reference from butterflies and from birds, so it was a little bit confusing on my laptop because I had like 4 reference pictures with which I had to open when I needed them, which is a downside. But the upside from it is that the painting got more dynamic and I could more rely on my own imagination of the dynamics and the composition. So in Photoshop I have normally to put everything together, and I don't change it much after I have put it together. So that was what I find exciting about the painting. Besides of the fantastic model, which is Lee Dixon, I found her on Instagram and she has like a huge account, but I didn't realize it. I'm not interested in that. When I see a beautiful picture on Instagram, I'm just interested in this. So this was the first thing when I saw her picture, was the beautiful braid she had in her hair and the perfect lighting on her face. So this is like the perfect painting lighting. When it comes from above and there is a shadow under the nose, and like the whole shadows go straight down along the cheeks and under the chin. This is like the perfect shadow for painting. So this was super enjoyable for me to paint. So this was enough info about the painting. It isn't finished yet. I'm excited to continue on it. I think it will be a great painting in the end, and I'm super excited to see how the prints will turn out. So I will release them soon, so keep an eye out for that on my Instagram page. I will also have the option to have them embellished. They are very beautiful as well. So stay tuned about that. And the topic of the discussion is, should you put yourself out there even if you are a beginner? And I found this question super interesting, and I actually got it the other day as a comment on my YouTube account under my video. And it is very interesting for me because it was not my situation. So when I started social media, I already had a very high skill level. So I started social media 2 years ago, approximately. I don't keep track. Sometimes I say like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So something about that. So I already had refined skills. So, and also, I do not fear critique. My boyfriend, who taught me in the beginning of my career, and we are still working together and giving each other critique because this is the best thing to help each other. In addition, why critique from the internet don't bother me is that other people don't know what I intend with my art. If they, for example, say, well, that part of the painting isn't as finished, or that looks odd or so, I really don't get these comments often. Very rarely. I think I got over the whole time, maybe 3 or so, like, which I would consider critique like. So these people don't know what I want to do with my paintings, what I intend, where the focal point is, what parts I leave abstract and what not. So I just totally ignore them. Maybe they want to help me, but they just don't know what I do, so their critique isn't valuable for me. But if I would be a beginner and start to put my art out there, or anything I do, it could be a podcast, it could be fantasy stories. So actually the person who wrote this nice and wonderful comment wants to share their stories with viewers. So it's like the same when I want to try something new. I just want to start a new skill, then it is definitely more difficult. So it really depends on your character. So if you are very sensible to critique, and you're a beginner, there will be definitely a lot more critique on social media than for someone who's already very skilled in their craft. I see that with my videos. In my first videos, I, for example, get comments on, well, this is a little bit too dark, or I can't see anything, or something like it. So I imagine when I would put my art out there as a beginner, I would definitely get those comments. This isn't a bad thing. Being a person that is used to critique, I know that it can be helpful. A person who gives a critique means it well and they want to help you, and I would really think that when you are new and share your art with the internet and on Instagram, people that give you critique are probably on your skill level, so around your skill level, and they see something that is wrong with your drawing and they think, hey, I can do this better, but this person maybe can do other things better. I think I should point that out. So this would be the best case. So this would be that really the person would like to help you, and this could improve your art. For example, if this is anatomy. So you could use these comments even if they would be hard for you. I think it is different with art. So when I was programming or doing anything else and someone would say to me, hey, you have to do it that way, or oh my god, what did you just do? It is so wrong. I would laugh and say, hey, can you help me? So this is how I handle things. And with art it is a little bit different, and sometimes that is like your heart, and you don't want to have other people giving you critique about it. So sometimes it is difficult to overcome it, but in general, critique is very helpful. But one thing is also important. There are so many people on the internet, and most of them don't have a clue on what they are talking about. So really read everything with a grain of salt, because you don't know if the person who gives you like a comment that you don't really like is maybe an 13-year-old, I don't know, boy or so, and he is probably too young to understand what you did. So depending on your character, if you can handle annoying comments or critical comments which could help you, if you can handle that, you should definitely go out and put yourself out there as a beginner. But if you are very insecure and you can't stand that other people look at your stuff and say, and you're frightened of critique of other people, then I would say you can hone your skill and only come out when you are perfectly satisfied with what you did. Maybe you should just try it out. So try it out, make an anonymous account on YouTube and don't say who you are, for example. So you can just try it out. If this is something for you, nobody has to know you in the first, with the first videos, and you can just try it out if this is something for you. And mostly in the beginning of a YouTube channel, you don't really get much comments. So the critical comments would anyways come when your YouTube channel or your account on other social media platforms is a little bit higher. So you will probably have to do like the anonymous account a bit longer than you expected. So it could be like a jump into cold water. If this is too frightened for you or too much for you, then maybe you should not do it. But I'm the person who is like, I have to try it out. So you can still say, no, I don't want to do it. So I would definitely say do it as a beginner. If you do not like critique, if you can't stand critique, then maybe you should hone your skills before you do it. But if you are okay with critique and maybe you just ignore them all and do your thing, then put yourself out there. This would be my more or less educated guess on this topic. I hope this helped you. I hope I haven't forgotten important things. Mostly I remember these things after I uploaded the video. And sometimes my viewers are super amazing. Like they have ideas on hey, you've forgotten this or that. And I'm like, yeah, you're like totally right. And if you have more of ideas, put them in the comments. I am sure they are super helpful for other people, because my brain is like a sieve, and I'm very lucky if something caught in it and I can talk about it, but the rest is mostly lost. and sometimes I remember it and then I can talk about it. So help me in the comments and share your experience. It is super helpful for all the other viewers of this video. I hope you liked this video. If you want to see more of my painting tutorials, check out my Patreon page. I have an exclusive painting tutorial almost every week. And if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope you're inspired for your own artworks, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye!